What's up, guys and girls? Today I have Skyrim. I'm going to do an unboxing and a review. The reason why I'm doing this so late is because I do have a review of the game, so make sure you stay tuned in like the second half of the video. But I'm going to do an unboxing for those who don't know what's inside of it, which is usually a disc, but sometimes it doesn't work that way. So yes, this is the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. It's the fifth game in the Elder Scrolls series, and it's called Skyrim because it's in the northern area of Tamriel called Skyrim. Think of it as, I guess, a state because it's really not that big, like a United States state. It's about that size. Well, actually, it's a lot smaller, but yeah. So it's set in Skyrim. It's about dragons and stuff you probably don't care about. It's made by Bethesda, published by Bethesda Softworks and ZeniMax. It is rated mature. That means no kids can play this game at all. They will ban you if you play this game, kids. Do not play it. Actually, I would say this is a very tame M rating. I was kind of surprised when Oblivion got an M rating because really it's just blood and gore. That's really it. And then alcohol, who cares about that? But anyways, the actual rating calls for blood and gore, intense violence, sexual themes, and use of alcohol. I really haven't seen any intense violence, no killing or anything. Everyone's very peaceful in the game. If you can't sense the sarcasm, God help you. Anyways, yeah, so it's a fantasy RPG. It's still very realistic, but it has magic, stuff like that in there. So that's why. And you can level up your stats, so that's why it's an RPG. So now we're going to open it. This is what it looks like. First we got the manual. Lots of pictures inside. Cool stuff, ponies, unicorns, not really. And then we got this absolutely random piece of paper. I think they wanted to just add a little bit of weight or something because this is absolutely stupid. But if you're interested in it, there's Prey 2, just a little picture of it, and Dishonored. And they're both Bethesda Soft Publishing games, so both are published by Bethesda. So that's uninteresting. And then we got the disc. It's actually a pretty cool looking disc. Got the new Xbox 360 design on the top. And there's also this, I'm not sure you can see it, but there's like a landscape picture or drawing or concept art in the background behind the green plastic. So that's pretty cool. And then the last thing, which was in the box, that would be that map right there. You probably can't see it, but you may have seen pictures of it. It came with the pre-order, so I don't think you can get it in any new game of Skyrim, but you can probably get it on eBay. It's a great map. It feels pretty good. From what I've heard, it's different on the 360 than it is the PS3, which is kind of weird. The maps are like different sizes or something, and different materials. But this, feels like a pretty cool map. I've seen someone like burn the edges, so it looks like a real map. So that's pretty cool. Yep. Okay, so that's really that's it for the unboxing. I'm gonna start the review with the differences between the Xbox 360 and PS3 version. As we know, or as you don't know, Oblivion, which was the first current generation Elder Scrolls game on the consoles, it was first on the 360 because originally Bethesda only made 360, or they made Xbox games and PC games. It was originally on the 360, and then they ported it to the PS3. The PS3 version of Oblivion had a lot of problems, and So that's why I took my chances again with the 360 version of Skyrim, because I knew the PS3 probably would have a few more problems, and boy was I right. The PS3 has a lag problem that I don't necessarily know much about because I've never seen it and because I don't have it. Um, but the 360 version is, you know, pretty bug free, at least game changing bug free. I mean, sure, there's the amusing thing that you might see on YouTube, a picture of or video of flying elephants and the what are they, giants that are like hammering people up into the sky. Those are amusing, but they're not really problematic. So, bug-wise, I think the game's fine. At least on 360. But PS3, you might have a different story. So now we will get into the actual review. I have beaten and played and loved Oblivion, which was the fourth game. I loved it, and it had its flaws. But I love this game even more. I'd say, let's see, the first 10, 12 days or so, I probably spent 6.5 hours on average each day playing this game. And recently I've gotten close to running out of quests, which is kind of unfortunate because like, I don't know what to do now. But during that first week and a half of playing this game, it was non-stop fun. I was lucky enough to have a lot of free time when I first got the game. I was working a job, but my schedule was very lenient towards enjoying myself outside of class and work. Uh, this semester, I'm not sure. But anyways, I haven't bought any new games this semester. So I really love this game. That's the general idea of this game. Of course, I'll get into specifics. But if you want to turn the video off now, I would say this is a great game. One of my favorite games of last year. But to get into specifics, let's get into gameplay. Gameplay had a lot of things added, both in how the mechanics of the player work, in the RPG elements, and both in how the environment works with the player. Some quick things that were added to the player's abilities include some new let's see, what do they call it? Skills. Some new skills. Some skills were changed around, some were modified, stuff like that. You had Sprint. Sprint's great. If you're obsessed with Call of Duty, you probably are very familiar with Sprint. And of course, there are tons of other games that have Sprint, so I shouldn't say that only Call of Duty players would enjoy that. Gameplay. They have dragons. Dragons are both a story element and a gameplay element, so that's why I'm saying it here. Dragons, after a certain point in the story, they can show up randomly in the sky, and so it's very fun initially to battle them because you can easily die. And why that might sound ironic, but it's not, because it's actually challenging, and you're constantly healing yourself, and it's actually very difficult in the beginning. But if you get to level 30 or something like that, they become more of a nuisance because they are so easy at that point. You just hit them a bunch of times with your ebony sword or whatever weapon you have, and they go down after a while. There are even videos of people assassinating dragons, like seriously assassinating them with daggers in the back, using perks and stuff like that. And so you almost come too powerful after a while, but it's really not that big of a problem. There are some people who won't even play that long. Some people only play to level 25 and then quit. I suggest you don't do that. I suggest you just keep playing until you run out of quests, which is technically, that's impossible. It's literally impossible, people. There's this thing called Radiant Story, and I can't necessarily identify a certain Radiant Story, but what what the game does is it creates quests while you're playing the game. So if you meet someone, it'll just randomly create a quest, and you can do something, and get a little bit of gold for doing that, or maybe a prize, or whatever. Whatever you get for completing the quest, you'll get that, and it's something that's not necessarily scripted into the game. Maybe the dialogue might be, but I don't know. I'm not sure it's exactly infinite, because really it would require infinite dialogue, which is pretty much impossible. But they say that you could keep playing this game forever, and so it will eat your life, at least after a while you might put it down, but for the first month or so it will consume your life. That's what these games do. See, Bethesda, they eat souls. Okay? They consume them, and that's how they make these games. So it's kind of a looping process. They make the game, you play it, they consume your soul, then they make another one. So they started, this generation, they started off with Oblivion, then Fallout 3, and then Fallout New Vegas, and then back to Elder Scrolls. So, yes, they think souls are delicious, and luckily we get something good out of that. It's a great game. Graphically, the game looks much better than Oblivion, but on par with games right now. I'd say on the PC it definitely looks the best on max settings, but on the 360 and the PS3 it looks pretty good. Let's see, what's a good looking game now, and it's not Call of Duty. Let's see, Battlefield's not really, it's got its limitations, so that's why it's not really that great looking of a game. Let's see, Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect 3 is pretty good looking. God, there's got to be that one that's... Uncharted 3 looks pretty good. And so it's really not on par with that. The character models are better than Oblivion, but still not the best. The character dialogue, better, but not the best. So it really, this was a good step up for the small stuff, but the gameplay is just fantastic. And the average rating on Metacritic is 96 or so. So it's it's up there, top 10 games for 360 and PS3 of all time. So in 2011, I believe it was tied for first, tied with Arkham City, which I will get to next. But yes, so it's probably about $40 now, 40, 30, something like that. They're going to come out with DLC eventually. Don't know anything about any DLC now. They're going to patch it to 1.4 soon. Hopefully that's supposed to, get rid of the PS3 lag problem. So if you're wary about buying it on the PS3, please do not fret, because they say they will fix it. And if we take their word for it, then there's nothing to worry about. So this is Skyrim, one of my favorite games of 2011. If you trust me in my favoritism, then you will get this game. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. You will not give me the look of disapproval, I promise. So, that's it, guys. I will do another game next, but stay tuned.